Yes, Will, back with you. Hello again, Jim Birds. What we got going on here today, an update to our 229. Our patient is ready to be taken off of life support here. So I think we'll start with putting the motor back in. As you can see here, we've got our one mounting screw set up through there. That one's already in. You can leave that one in because the motor actually slips over that screw there, that machine screw. So I'll show you that in a second here. So that one's in, ready to accept our motor. All right, let's see how that goes. Okay. Very good. Now you'll see here, the back of the motor, that just slips over that machine screw that I had repaired there. So you don't ever have to really remove that particular machine screw. We'll just slip it over there. And making sure not to pinch any of our wires. Slide her back in here. And she should line up with our other machine screw hole here. Just wiggle her around a little bit. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. There it is. Find our hole here. There we go. Let's see if we can get her to wind in there, huh? Just a little bit of twist there. Looks like she grew there, huh? All right, our next mission I would suggest is putting on our steam chests, cow catcher assembly, all that we repaired. Get our light bulb out of the way. All right. Let's move her down just a little bit. Okay. That fit up real nice. Now at the moment I only have the one steam chest screw here, but the other one's on its way. But one will hold it for the moment. Let that drop in. Snug that one up. Looking good so far. Might as well take this screw out. This is for our front truck. It'll be going on in a little bit. Set that aside. Okay, our motor's in there nice and tight. Cow catcher's back on, steam chest. all is well with that. Now, let's see. So what we have here on the original, our main rod here, as you can see, our piston rod is broken off. Both sides were like that, sadly. So we found some replacements. I'll show you here in a second. This is the replacements. And what this is from a Lionel 224 locomotive. And the casting is exactly the same, so we can use the casting. We can't use the rod. We'll save it, but we can't use it. The rods for this one don't match up to our 229, but we'll take our machine screw bolt out of there and get that transferred over to our longer main rod. Oh, let's see here. Get that out. Grab our socket here. Here's a little helpful hint if you don't have the tiny sockets. This is 3/16. But I put some Loctite putty in there and it stays soft and flexible, but it's very sticky. But you don't want the head of the, well, you don't want the whole thing dropping down into the socket because these are so big, you know. So that just prevents that from flying down into the socket there. And then it also holds the machine bolt for you. How about that? All right, so we'll take our crosshead off there. That's our new one. This one we'll save. We'll put that away for a rainy day. All right, let's get our main rod back here. All right, let's see here. We want our rod on this side, thusly, and wind our machine bolt back in there. Just a little snug. There it is. Now, you'll want to pay attention when you're putting these on. See this little boss here? You always want those facing up, not down. So make sure you always have, there is a left and a right to all this stuff, so got to pay attention. All right. Okay, so what we'll do now, we'll get that slid onto our crosshead guide here, or slide, either one. All right, and then that, let's see if I can swing it around there for you. Oh, That's going to slide into our steam chest here. You know what, before we do this, let me get our brand spanking new valve rod assembly and crank. We'll put this on next. Look at that, beautiful, beautiful. You'll notice on the crank here, it's got two little keys here. And they will go into the receiver end on the locomotive's wheel there. I'll show you that. Okay. You see it there? Those two little keys will go into these slots here. All right. So that's what we're going to attempt to do next. Oh, wrong way. There we go. All right. So this, again, there's a left and a right, so okay. So we'll get this into our valve hole here on the steam chests. Let that kind of rest there. Grab one of our screws here. All right, drop her in the hole. Make sure it's captured in there. And tighten her down. Oh, don't pinch the rod. It's got to go through the rod in there. Get it in the right spot there so it goes through the rod. Being difficult here. Not sure why. Let's investigate. Should just slip right through there. Keeps tightening down on it instead of slipping through. Yeah, it's just a little. Huh. That's odd. Okay, I stopped the video there because we ran into a problem once again with reproduction parts, which this assembly is. It's reproduction, but I mean, they're nice parts, but sometimes they're not quite like the original. So here's the original piece, and that was broken, of course. So when we measure that, thickness, we're getting 0.35 inch. I know it's upside down, sorry. Alright. So that's the original piece. When we measure our reproduction, we're getting, what's that? Almost 0.39 inch. Or 4. Depends on how bad I'm shaking. So anyhow, that's much thicker than the original. And if we look at our shoulder screw here, tried to shine it up a little bit. You can see our little shoulder right here. Maybe my fingernails in the way there. But you can see our shoulder right here. That's all the thickness we have to work with to allow that valve rod assembly to pivot on there. If it's any thicker, then the head of the shoulder screw here will cinch down on the pivot there, so you run into a problem. I can show you here. If we put that through there, try to get the light where you can see it. You can see that's thick, and the head of the screw is going to pinch down on our pivot there. We can't allow that to happen. So what we did here, off camera, is spent a few minutes on the grinding stone there, on the grinding wheel, and got her ground down to the correct thickness there. And this will allow this pivot to go on that shoulder, but not allow the head of the shoulder screw to pinch down on it. So let's see how things work now. Oh. So we'll put her back into the steam chest here. Get her in position. Get our shoulder screw back in place. There you go. Now it's not pinching anymore. Moving freely. So that's good. All right. So that remedied that part. So we'll have to do that to the other valve gear assembly for the other side. But for the moment, we can continue on with our work here. Yeah. Okay, there's our side rod, connecting rod, either one. Again, this boss faces upward, okay? So that's going to sit on there, just like that. And then we'll get another screw here. And in case you're wondering, this Loctite stuff, I'll show you what it is here. Looks like that. It's called Funtac Loctite. But it's not permanent. You can, you just pull this off, and you can just push it back out of the socket if you need to use it for something else. But this works great for this. Most of the time I just keep this socket separate from all the others just for working on the trains. Alright. We'll put this in our front wheel here. There we go. A little snug up on that. All right. Let's bring this around here. Okay, so our battery died, and we're a few days past our last moment with our patient here. Had to go to oncology and CT scans, blood work, all that stuff. Keep track of this stage 4 stuff. But all's good, I'm good. Back to our work here. Let's see. What we gotta do. All right, we're gonna take our crosshead, piston rod, and main rod. Get that all. What I did is I put a drop of oil down inside the hole there, right down in there. And that way when you push the guide through there, picks up the oil. I don't know if you can see the sheen on there. So now we'll position this into our steam chest, piston rod in there. slide into the steam chest, get our everything out of the way. Okay. So now I use these. These are screw holders, type of screwdriver. You can see they're split. The blade is split. And then when you push this down, the plunger, it gets thicker. So it grabs the screw for you. These are ancient. These were my dad's. He would have loved this rescue. So we're using some of his tools to help us along. All right, so we'll position our screw onto the blade here. Push it till you feel it get tight. And there she is. All right, hopefully she'll hold up while we get this screwed back in there. Where's our hole? Oh, there it is, I think. Yep, there it is. All right. Give that a snug. Pull that back. All right. All right, let's make sure we're in good shape here. Nothing's binding. Nope. All right. So now what we're going to do, get all these pieces put onto the crank here. That's over here. So what I do, take a little bit of Vaseline, petroleum jelly. All right, I'll put a little dab here. A little dab will do you. We'll place our large bushing on there. Vaseline should hold it, I hope. Usually does. Just to keep everything in position while we're working. All right, then we'll put some Vaseline on the underside of our side rod here. And let's see, we'll get that positioned on top of our large bushing, thusly. All right. A little more Vaseline. And our small bushing. That's that one right there. Just like that. And then we should be able to put our crank in there and our main rod together. that in there. Okay. Everything looks good there. Give her a little bit of a turn there. Spin this till those forks on the crank drop down into the wheel. All right, let's get our screw ready to go. There we go. Start that in there. Get our little Phillips going here. Can you see that? Can you see everything? How's that? A little better? I just put a little timing mark, as it were, right here on the rim. That'll come off with an alcohol swab. But that lets me know what position the eccentric for the valves is pointing when the fingers will drop down into the wheel. It's just, you know, instead of trying to feel your way around there, it becomes a big pain in the butt. So just mark it and you're good to go. All right, a little snug there. Now, always do this by hand before you put power to it. Just spin everything around. Make sure nothing's binding, nothing's loose, nothing's falling apart. All right. Then we'll position our wheels. We'll give everything a little dab of oil here. All our pivot points. A little bit more there, a little bit on the valve rod. And this is very important. Don't forget up in here. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, like I'm saying here, before I was so rudely interrupted. I don't know if you can see. Try to get a good shot of it here. All right, you see up in here where our shoulder screw went through the pivot for our valve gear here, valve rod. Got to get that lubricated too. That does a lot of work. So get a drop or two in there. What happens is if you don't lubricate this, this will just keep drying out, and then it'll just keep wearing out, and the hole will get bigger and bigger, and then the valve rod will start to get sloppy, and then that'll start binding up, and then you get a catastrophic failure all over the place. It's a mess. Oh my God. But anyway, okay, I think we're almost ready to give her a test. We've spun her around a few times, make sure everything's good. frontwards, backwards. We also have, I don't know if I mentioned this, but let's zoom back out again. All right, I got the second screw for the steam chest. That's in there, so that's nice and secure. All right, so I think that's all we gotta work on at the moment. We'll give her a test up on a set of rollers I have up on the layout here, and we'll give her a test. Let's get her up on her feet here. So nice, so nice. This is a beautiful locomotive. Yes, sir. All right, I'll see you up on the rollers on the layout. Okay, we're up on the rollers. These are the rollers I have. Just set them on the track, and that front one has a center rail contact. Mates up with the center roller there, you can see it. All right. If I get my finger out of the way, you can see it. There you go. You can see the roller there sitting on the piece of brass. That's the center rail. And then there are wheel bearings mounted on angle iron, aluminum angle iron. So, I think they're about $40 at Micro-Mart. So, all right, let's turn her on, see how she goes. Okay, hold on. Be good to have some power, huh? Okay, she's plugged in now. All right. Choo choo, baby. Look at that. Look at all that action. Neutral. Forward. They make a lot of noise when they're sitting up on the roller. Okay, I think we've had a successful outcome here. We still got our rear trucks to put on, front trucks. We got to put our headlight lens back in, put our bell back on, get our railings back on, give her a nice paint job. All right. I'm loving it. So until next time, toodles.